and welcome to Virtual Baby Time. I'm Miss Gill. I'm a Youth Services Librarian at the Muskegon Area District Library Norton Shores branch, and we've got a fun Virtual Baby Time to share with you today. You'll notice it's a little different than our previous videos because I'm sitting down. I'm not standing up. I'm going to be explaining the stretches that we do for baby time using our friend here. This is Jelly Bean. She's our little doll assistant. And when I'm acting out a stretch for babies, I'm going to show you how they need to be positioned, or if they need to be sitting in your lap, or different things like that, and acting it out as I would hope you would try with your baby with the same level of support and everything. Although, you know, Jelly Bean is a little more flexible because she is cloth, so just make sure to support baby's joints at all times when we're doing stretches. We're going to get into that in just a moment. Before we get started, we're going to say a quick thank you to Houghton, Mifflin, Harcourt for the story that we're going to share today, and a special thank you to Kathy Reid-Naiman for some of the music that we're sharing today. We're going to get started with our hello song, which is Say Hello to the Morning, and I'm going to act out some of the things with Jelly Bean right here. Say Hello to the Morning is a really good wake-up song. It's a nice gentle song that you could try just doing some swaying. If your baby is of an age and of a disposition to do some rocking, it's a great activity for waking up and for gently kind of introducing play. So let's get started with that.
Oh, the sun is up and the world is awake and the birds are singing in the morning. As I rub my eyes and get out of my bed and I say hello to the morning. And I say hello to the dog and the cat and the birds that are singing in the morning. And I say hello to the fish in the bowl. I say hello to the morning. And I say hello to the flowers and the bees and the birds that are singing in the morning. And I say hello to the clouds in the sky. I say hello to the morning.
This is also a fun song to do, not today, of course, but out of doors in good weather. This is a great picnic activity, or anytime that you're going to a national park or things like that, like getting out and about and doing some fun songs together, but wait for warm weather.
Oh, the sun is up and the world is awake and the birds are singing in the morning. As I rub my eyes and get out of my bed and I say hello to the morning.
Yay! Give yourselves a hand. That was great. And like I said, it's a good way to kind of transition into playtime. Those transitions seem really simple to us grown-ups, but boy, are they important for kids to kind of have something that signals that it's the start for baby time. So, all right, well, let's get started. So before we get started, something that you may have noticed, we did a little bit of sign language vocabulary during our wake-up song. Technically, the signs that we're using are not sign language like American Sign Language per se. This is baby sign, which is a very simplified form of sign language. The point of which is to help babies visualize the language and start to connect the words you say with meaning and the greater context of the world around them. So we are going to do a couple different sign language keywords today. Our keywords for this month are hug, just like this, and love, which is actually the same sign. Both of those are some really good basic ones to try. You can also, for kids as they get more advanced, this might work with toddlers, not really sure, but for another sign option is the I love you sign, where you basically have a hand out, take your ring finger and middle finger and fold them down. And that's the I love you sign. This is more advanced though. Most babies are not going to be able to do that on command. Even though their fingers are very flexible, they're still working on things like that. As they get to be toddler age, this might be easier though. And as you act out these things like we do with finger play, this is going to help them have something to imitate if you show them what that looks like. So definitely take some time to try out the I love you sign, the hug sign, and love. This is just the sign basically for love in baby sign. So those are some good ones to practice and try out. But now that we've done that, we're gonna do some baby stretches. So it's good anytime you're gonna be doing anything active with baby to take some time to stretch those muscles out. And that's what Jelly Bean is here to help us with. So our first stretch is a chest cross stretch. And to see a little bit larger, we're doing our arms across and then apart again. As you're doing that, you wanna make sure to support baby's forearm. And if they're wiggly or something like that, you can always modify any of these stretches if any of these are uncomfortable for you or baby. But you want to support any joints that are moving and anything that's folding. So you want to make sure that as you're moving baby's arms across and apart, you're going nice and slow. And if baby does the I am suddenly made of stone pose, it's okay to skip that stretch entirely. If they're not comfortable with it for whatever reason, you want this to be a positive experience, just skip it. You don't need to do it today. You can do it another day if you want to try it again at all. They just may not like that activity that day. So that is arms across, arms apart, arms across, arms apart, arms across, arms apart. Just that simple. So that's a good stretch. Give yourselves a hand. Yay! Our next stretch is going to be a leg stretch. And for this one, and I'm showing these activities with baby in their lap. Jelly Bean's sitting right here in my lap. If you have a younger baby, say 0 to 3 months, you will prefer to probably have them on a blanket on their back facing you. That's going to be a little bit easier for them to stay stable. They don't have to try and support their head. As babies are more comfortable supporting their head, it's going to be easier for them to sit in your lap because they want to see everything you're seeing. But if they're younger, I highly recommend they be on their back. But for a leg stretch, this one is going to be kind of a scissor kick. We're just going to do a kick back and forth like that. For this, you want to support baby's knee as you're lifting back and forth. And you want to go nice and slow. So that's just kind of a scissor kick. You can also do something that I like to call bicycle legs, where baby is pushed into a gentle knee bend, going back and forth like they're pedaling a tiny bicycle. But you want to, again, go nice and slow. For that one, you're not supporting the joint directly, but you're pushing just very gently so that they have a very gentle bend as they go back and forth as they cycle. So you want to just do that maybe 4 or 5 times, just to warm up those muscles. Then we have another arm stretch. I'm going to bring Jelly Bean back to my lap for this one. This is one arm up and one arm down. I'm just going back and forth, and I can actually do that one with my arms too. Do a nice big stretch, nice up and down. You can also do rainbow arms, where you go across. Now again, with anything with a big movement like that with baby's arm, you want to support that elbow joint, make sure it's nice and stable. But nice big rainbow arms, 4 or 5 for each side, just like that. And our last one is going to be one where we're bending both knees at the same time. And that one I think I'm going to probably do on back, just because it's a little bit easier. So Jelly Bean's going to be on her back, and I'm going to hold her since she's made of cloth. She will wiggle around. I don't recommend doing that with regular babies. They like to wiggle, and that's okay. So for a knee stretch, just gently bending up and down. You want to hold at the shin and bend up and down, just 4 or 5 times. And there we go. Good job. Give yourselves a hand. That's a good warm-up. Okay, for our next activity, we're going to do some finger plays. And I'm going to have Jelly Bean kind of act this out. For this one, the song is called The Noble Duke of York. And for this one, I recommend maybe trying to do like some lifting with baby. So you're going to be lifting baby up and down, halfway up, and then up and down. Again, you can modify this if it's uncomfortable for you or baby for any reason or no reason. You know, you just want to try and keep it so that it's comfortable and fun for both of you. But the noble Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill and he marched them down again. And when they're up, they're up. And when they're down, they're down. And when they're only halfway up, they're neither up nor down. Now you might have heard that song before because it also goes with another rhyme called Dance Your Fingers Up. This is a modification on that same rhyme, where you can just make it a tickle rhyme. So dance your fingers up, tickles. Dance your fingers down, tickles. Dance your fingers to the sides, tickles. Dance them all around, tickles. Dance them on your shoulders. Dance them on your knees. Dance them on your nose. Careful, don't you sneeze. Achoo! Now, we probably want to modify that for right now because directly touching one's face, not the best idea right now. But you can always tickle toes instead of nose because that also works and it rhymes. And don't undersell rhymes in story. Rhymes, especially for this age, are very pleasing to hear. And because they're pleasing to hear and because you, the grown-up that is most important in their life, are saying them, that's going to make it much more interesting to the baby. I can say this stuff till I'm blue in the face, but you're the rock star. Your baby wants to hear you. So we've got a finger play, and if you have your fingers handy, we're going to do a quick finger play stretch. I'm going to do open, shut them. Open, shut them, open, shut them, give a little clap, clap, clap. Open, shut them, put them in your lap, lap, lap. Creep them, crawl them, creep them, crawl them, right up to your chin. Open wide your little mouth, but do not let them in. Good job. I also have this one called I Have 10 Little Fingers. So this one is a lot of fun. I have 10 little fingers, they all belong to me. I can make them do things, would you like to see? I can make them shut tight, I can open them wide. I can put them all together and I can make them hide. I can make them jump high. I can make them jump low. I can put them all together and fold them all just so. And as I usually remind folks, babies are not going to fold their hands nicely and sit quietly. That's not how babies work. They're too busy learning things for that. But it is a fun activity to try because kids are fascinated figuring out how their fingers can fit together like this. They won't stay like that, but they love to see how fingers work. This is our story for today. This is The Napping House by Audrey and Don Wood. And this is an excellent stormy or sleepy day kind of story. There is a house, a napping house, where everyone is sleeping. Look at all that rain. Good snowy weather kind of story too. And in that house there is a bed, a cozy bed, in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. It does look pretty cozy, but it also looks like somebody's already cozy in it. And on that bed there is a granny, a snoring granny on a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. Well, you know, if you're cozy in bed and it's time for sleep, that's a good place to be. And on that granny, there is a child, a dreaming child on a snoring granny in a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. Grown-ups, if you haven't seen this before, this is a cumulative story where the story builds a line upon a line upon a line as it goes. That's why it's really good not to skip a page if you can help it in a cumulative story. And on that child, there is a dog, a dozing dog on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed, in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. That's going to be a pretty big stack in a minute. And on that dog, there is a cat, a snoozing cat on a dozing dog, on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny in a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. I'm just waiting for somebody to sneeze. And on that cat, there is a mouse. A slumbering mouse on a snoozing cat, on a dozing dog, on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, in a cozy bed, in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. Oh boy, that's a really tall stack of people and animals. I always worry about tall stacks falling over. And on that mouse, there is a flea. Can it be? A wakeful flea. Uh-oh. A wakeful flea on a slumbering mouse, on a snoozing cat, on a dozing dog, on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed, in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. Are they going to stay sleeping? I don't know. Well, wait a second. The sky looks brighter outside. That's interesting. A wakeful flea who bites the mouse. Squeak! Uh-oh. I think I know how this is going to go. Who scares the cat? Meow! That's a scared cat. It checks out. Who claws the dog? Woof! Oh dear. Brighter sky out there too. Who thumps the child? Oof! Sunshine's coming in. Who bumps the granny? Woo! Now it's very sunny outside. Who breaks the bed? Oh no! In the napping house where no one is now sleeping. The end. Okay, well, before we finish up for today, I've got two things to share. These are both from 0to3.org, and I highly recommend, since I don't have the link included in the video, but we may be able to include it in the text. But if you take a look at the link, there are some really great tips for playing with babies and toddlers. And I find that those are good refreshers just for me in general. I like to refer back to them. You want to follow baby's lead. You want to make sure that the space for them is definitely like baby space, and baby safe, of course, but also like a comfortable space where they can explore a little bit, introduce new things slowly. So if they haven't played with a particular toy before, you can try it out one time and just see how they react. If they don't seem interested, you can try introducing it another time. You want to follow baby's lead. You want to kind of see like what sort of things are they interested in today. Try a couple things. If today is a texture kind of day where all they want to do is just kind of feel how things feel, present them with different textures. Maybe you have a piece of like a washcloth that has like a fun scrubby texture, and maybe you have a nice soft blanket that is a contrasting texture. Maybe you have a toy block that is plastic. It has a nice kind of smooth texture to it. Play around with those different things, because it's best that they discover those textures and things with you nearby, so you can supervise and know whether or not they're like, put them in their mouth. They're going to put them in their mouth. That way you're there and you're able to assist. And you can kind of talk about the different feelings and textures that they're introducing to them. These are some great ways to explore and to just try out new types of play. So definitely take a look at some of those tips. There are much more detailed tips on the website. The other thing to recommend on 0to3.org is ways to improve screen time with your younger children. The biggest tip that I took away from it was sharing that screen time with them. Because we all know that like screen time, everybody's spending some time on screens, probably more lately than they've wanted to. But there are ways to make that type of play engaging for a baby, but that means that you as the grown-up usually are sharing that screen time with them. Because really that shared time is the best way to improve that as a learning and a play experience for both you and baby. So it can kind of be a little bit awkward at first when you're trying it, but definitely take a look at their recommendations on 0to3.org. They've got some great ideas. And just spend some time with you and baby. Thanks so much for joining us for Virtual Baby Time today. It was so great to have you guys with us. Take a look at MADL.org for our calendar of events, and do keep an eye out on our YouTube channel and on the MADL website for upcoming programs that we have going on, and for our next Baby Time and Story Time events. And thanks so much. Take care, and remember, you're doing a great job.